Ladies and gentlemen, Tactical Advance here, and today we're going to be talking about exploration. Now, on my previous video, someone made quite a valid comment saying that they have a very small single-seater exploration ship, and they were asking the question, what are they actually going to do in the game? Exploration is tiered as such, like most of the sort of roles we have in Star Citizen. If you've got a sort of a single-seater exploration ship, the benefits you normally have with a ship like that, they're actually designed for longer range. When I say longer range, there's a couple of ways you can look at this. There's longer range flying between point A and point B without using jump ports. If you fly between these points and you don't go through the jump ports, the reason for actually doing that is because that's actually where exploration starts. It's actually what you're going to find between these points. So having a ship that can actually go long range is exactly what you need to actually find interesting items in deep space. So let's talk about some of the things you could actually find. Now, first of all, you could find a derelict ship. What would you do with that information? If you're in a little small ship, well, first of all, you could actually board it on your own, or if it's a two-seater, you could actually board it with your friend, possibly, and then take out anything on board, and then take away any sort of exciting stuff you found. The second thing you can actually find is a planet or a physical material in space. Now, with this information, what you can do, you can actually sell that information, sell it to one of your other friends or organization members. You can pass it on to them, or you can actually pass this information on to other organizations or even to the UEE. Now, the next thing you might find while you're flying through space is a jump port. Now, jump ports are key in the game. You could call them shortcuts to getting from point A to point B. Now, the jump ports are actually going to be sized, so you can have, hasn't actually been confirmed how many sizes yet, but let's just say, for instance, there's size 1 to 5. And the difference being is the size of a ship that can actually travel through that jump port. So let's just say anything between 1 and 5, that small ship will be able to go through any of them. Something larger like a Karak or an Idris may be able to go through a 5 but not through a 1 to 4 and so on, so you get the idea. Now, that's there for a good reason, because I think you're going to have to limit the size of ship that can actually go through the jump ports. Otherwise, it's going to make it very unfair for people if someone goes through a jump port and it's a size 1 and they've got a big ship following and they just jump and follow them through, or having the ability for big capital ships to actually jump around the map would make it pretty challenging for any player or organisation playing the game. You found a jump port, what can you actually do? Now, if you're in a small exploration ship, what you can do is you can sell them coordinates to the UEE, identifying that there is actually a jump port there. So you've got a few ways so far that you can actually make money in a very small ship. Alongside that, there will be AI missions as well that you can pick up from the guild that will be exploration orientated tasks for you to actually achieve. Now, the next step would be going for a larger exploration ship with an actual ability that evolves around exploration. So let's say, for instance, you've got one of the few different types of scanners. Let's say you've got the jump port scanner, or you've just got a basic scanner where you can actually scan and find asteroid belts, planets, floating ships, places of interest, and so on. Let's start with the first scanner array, the jump port scanner. What you would actually do with the jump port scanner, you would fly near the jump port and you would deploy a small drone that would actually fly through, first of all, to make sure it's safe. Now, the way the jump ports actually work is they actually change over the period of time. If you were to map out a jump port, now with that information you can sell that back to the UEE, or you can sell it to players, or you can sell it to whoever you want, your friends, another organisation. How it works is that information and data is actually sold to them and it's added to their actual map system. Now, that doesn't mean in a month, 2 months time, when you find that jump port and you fly through, that you're going to successfully actually make it through the other side, because obviously after a period of time the jump port actually changes, so it will need remapping. So when you actually go through that jump port, you would have to take into consideration the recency of when that data was actually captured. Now, on the topic of the larger ships as well, if we look at the other scanner array, you've got to think of flying through space and having a 20-meter ball around you, and that's your sensor range. With the exploration ships that actually focus on finding planets, derelict ships, points of interest, objects in space, the array is just much wider. So you could say hundreds of meters wide. And that way, so if you're flying through deep space in a straight line, your detection range is a lot higher, thus giving you a better reward or the higher chance of actually detecting something. A lot of people in the past have said, you know, what happens if I just took my little ship here, it's a little fighter, and I want to do I'm going to do a bit of exploration on the side. Undoubtedly, there is a case for that. You can do that, but the chances of you finding something for the lack of sensors would be a lot lower than it would be actually having a ship that actually focuses on exploration. So we've spoken about the sort of small ship end, and then moving up to, let's say, the multi-crew, the sort of larger exploration ships like the Carrack that specialize in a little bit more in-depth exploration and I would say deep space. Although the smaller ships can go into deep space, I would say that further on down the line, I have no doubt if you're focusing on exploration, you're probably aiming for something like a Carrack or maybe something bigger, depending on the crew you have available to yourself. But they also come with other perks as well. Things like repair bays, medical bays, small scouting ships, so you can send up a small scouting ship to go through the jump port before you actually take your ship through, and so on and so on. Because there might be a case where you're flying in your exploration ship, say for instance the Carrack, and you find a tier 1 jump port. Now obviously you can't go through that, because let's just say the Carrack is a tier 3, it's a larger ship. So what you would do in that case is you would just deploy your smaller craft to actually go through, and actually maybe have a look on the other side. Exploration is a massive part for Star Citizen. If you think of it in some ways, that it actually is the catalyst for pretty much the majority of the other interests in the game. Finding planets, finding materials, finding derelict ships. I mean, a good example would be you're in your Carrack, you find a capital ship floating in space. Your technology on board, you certainly can't break that ship down. You can board it, have a look around and maybe take a few bits with you. I would suggest actually reporting that position to maybe one of your friends, organisation, or possibly even selling it down other routes, because that still has value there. If they want to come out and salvage it, if they want to tow it away and physically use it, there's a lot of other reasons why actually, once you find something, the information actually has value. Alongside them sort of exploration features that I've just explained, there is going to be other mechanics in there as well. RSI are fully aware that the whole point of us, or a key part of us, going into this game and really enjoying it is the sense of exploration, finding new things, keeping the interest there, and that cascades down, because if you find a big capital ship, you need to defend it, you need salvage, you know, you're gonna need salvage, you need all these assets around it to actually achieve that end goal, to actually break it down or move it or whatever you want to do. But I like the fact they're not telling us, and I think that that has to be there, because if we know exactly what we're going to find in deep space, what makes it more exciting is the anticipation of what you possibly could find in space. And I think from day one, if we know everything we can find, it does spoil exploration a little bit. I've heard a couple of things on the live stream that they did talk about maybe having ships that have an infection, you go on board and it could infect everyone on all the crew. They're adding all these sort of different mechanics in place. I'm hoping to find, when I go exploring in space, some really cool stuff to make you really excited when you're flying through space to find something very strange and go for that process of, it's a new finding, it's exploration. So that's it from me, guys. I just wanted to give you a bit of heads up on exploration and some of the mechanics you can expect to see, and also the possibilities, and in some ways you can let your imagination run wild, and let's hope Star Citizen do, and we're going to get some real big surprises when the game goes live. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed the video today. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye now.